Hello, my ghouls and ghoulettes. My name is Skye. I'm chronically awake, and today's topic, the Monkees. Um, this show is a very important show. It's very near and dear to my heart, and I decided to make a video about it. My mom is the one who showed me the show. I was about probably in middle school, maybe 5th grade. I didn't know much about it, and then eventually I had a sub that ended up being a pedophile, but we're gonna get to that story a little bit later. But let's start on some of Monkees' history. Now, some of you may say you've never heard of the Monkees before, or I don't even know what that band is, and I'd like to prove you wrong. If you know the hit movie Shrek, then you've heard the Monkees. Shooting babies in the hell. The Monkees was a hit boy band show during the late 60s that produced 13 musical albums and eventually a movie, which I do love the movie. It's a really good movie to watch. If you ever need to watch a good, weird psychological movie, it is on YouTube. So if you want to watch it, there it is. The show ran for 2 seasons. It was not renewed for a third, sadly, and that's why the movie was a thing, because the Monkees wanted to get more into cinematic, but that unfortunately did not happen. It was from 1966 to 1968. It showcased the life of 4 band members living on the California coast, trying to make rent by being a boy band. They would often do odd gigs, always trying to do the save the girl trope, or they get into like Scooby-Doo type shenanigans and like run away from the king or a hitman type character. The show was created by 2 producers, Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider, from NBC, because there was a hit boom with the Beatles, the Byrds, the Turtles. A lot of boy bands were really popular from the late 40s up until the late 60s. So NBC was like, "Hey, I need you guys to make me a show because we want to capitalize on this. So make the show now." And so that's why the Monkees became a thing. So basically they DIY'd a boy band. The cast was Mickey Dolenz. He was a child actor, so he had something under his rug. Davy Jones was actually awarded a Tony nominee. Michael Nesmith was an up and coming musician. He was from Texas, so he knew how to play music, but he was a U.S. veteran, a Texas boy. Peter was a veteran of the Greenwich Village scene, so he was pretty well done. I did not know it was a fake boy band. I found this out because I was in 9th grade, I'm fairly certain, and it was a business class. And I think we had a test I think it was a Wednesday and we had a test on a Friday. So we were just studying for the test. And we had a sub. And I remember when we all came in, he did attendance. He was like, "Hey, do you guys want any music? Do you want me to play any music?" And I was like, "Okay." Someone said rock, country, and I said the Monkees. This sub looked at me with such utter despair and shock and disgust, like, "How dare you say the Monkees?" And he's like, "You know that's a fake band, right?" And I held my tongue because I was just like, I'm gonna deal with this. I'm gonna deal with a grown man telling me that this band's fake. So I'm just like, "No, it's not," or like, whatever. Like, okay. And he would just give me mean looks the entire class. And I was like, but it didn't even matter anyway, because in the long run, he just played classical music because that's all he liked. And eventually, a couple months later, we found out he was not doing good things to the junior high that I went to for my school, and was later arrested. So, anyone who despises or hates the Monkees, I do not trust. Like I said, the 4 main cast members were Davy Jones. He was the handsome boy, he was always getting the girl, and he was also short. He was very short. He's also British. The only British. You had Mickey Dolenz. He was like the fun, rambunctious one. He was always up to the spark. He was extroverted. You have Michael Nesmith. He was arguably the leader of the group, a little bit stricter, kind of more sarcastic, very just, yeah, this is my life. And then Peter, he was the dumb one, which in reality, it makes me sad that Peter was the dumb one, because he was later diagnosed with autism, so that kind of just rubs it in more. Most of them knew how to play instruments. But Davy did not know how to play any instrument, so that's why you see him in the earlier seasons playing the tambourine, because he doesn't know how to play an instrument. He eventually learned. Obviously, singing is pretty easy, in my opinion, to be taught, but I play an instrument, so I'm already musically inclined, so it could be different for everyone. After the show, they wanted to break away and make music independently. They made the Birds, the Bees, the Monkees. They also made the movie because they wanted to get away from the show, but unfortunately the movie was not a hit. Because it was more of a serious psychedelic tone. It didn't really hit well with the fans, because imagine watching SpongeBob. Like, SpongeBob's a pretty weird, funny, happy-go-lucky show, and then it's just a series of serious episodes. Imagine if your happy-go-lucky show that you watch just suddenly changed to like a more serious adult political show, and you're like, I don't want to watch this anymore. So yes, the movie Head is more of a political issue movie. The boys did not want to be seen as not child actors, but they didn't want their audience to be young girls or audiences. They wanted to bloom more into adult-ish, but not the mature scene, like PG-13 or maybe a little bit of rated R. They did, after the movie, they did do some solo tours. They each even made their own music. And even to this day, Mickey Dolenz, the only one left alive, is on the 60th anniversary Monkee tour, which I wanted to go to, but they were taxing, which is understandable. It's expensive, especially to tour, and you gotta make profit somehow, and it's just expensive to live now in general. And it's honestly very weird to think about it, because he's like, we're the young generation and we have something to say. Which that was 60 years ago. My generation is now the young generation. Up to Janae is the younger generation, and it's just kind of weird to think back how much time has passed. And he must feel weird, especially since his friends are all gone, and that's weird that one day we may all experience that. And that's kind of a weird, morbid, but also the part of getting old. Like, it's weird. It's the human experience. They get together and they show their true personality. And even in the movie, they wanted to break apart, like I said, with the Vietnam War, with all this stuff the Vietnam War, the Women's Revolution, the Civil Rights Revolution. With all this changing, it really evolves how they didn't want to be seen as the boy band anymore. Michael had a family when he first started, and he did not like Peter for that, because Peter was a 7-year-old, the drugs, psychedelics, like, hey man, I have kids, and Peter was like, peace, love, and no war, I understand that, like, they were growing up and their prefrontal cortex was developing, even though in studies now they show that our brain is continuously developing well into our 30s. But it was just a different time of, you were meant to be more civilized, not more civilized, more, your life was already meant to be done. Like, you were supposed to have a job, you're supposed to have your family. While the change from the 50s, 60s, 70s, we were seeing that you don't have to have your family by the time you're 20. You don't have to have kids that time. You can explore things and be yourself, especially with the psychedelics, the drug industry, Woodstock. A lot of experimenting was happening. A lot of things were changing in the 60s to the 70s. And you just see the difference of what we're going through. Yes, it's still similar, especially the Vietnam War. Like, the world right now is a little heavy right now, but it's such a good show to wind down and watch from just being on your phone all day, or just being on a device, just to relax. It's a very predictable show, and especially with how I am, it's good to be predictable, and it's funny. It's funny to me, and I just think it's just a good show to understand yourself, but also it's just a good show to, like, come home, like it's the Saturday morning cartoons, or watching cartoons right before you go to school in the morning when you're about to get on the bus. It's just a really wholesome show. And the reason why I made this video is because I want to dedicate to my mom. She showed me this show, and she's the one, she's the reason who I am today. And she told me to stay weird. Like, this show, it's such a weird show that I would be obsessed with. Like, it's a show from the 60s. Why are you obsessed with? Why not just watch Rick and Morty or BoJack or Gravity Falls? Like, Or like your basic shows like Scrubs or Grey's Anatomy. Like why are you not liking the usual shows? And I'm like, I've just always been more inclined to the weird because the weird, in my opinion, is more open to the human experience and understanding not the meaning of life, but there's no right way to live life. Obviously, don't hurt people and be mean, but like we're all just on a floating rock and it's our first time being alive. You know, it's not like this is our first time being alive unless you believe in reincarnation and you can remember, but it's everyone's first time. Like first time moms, it's the first time they're being a mom. First time grandma. Like it's your first time here and we just need to slow down. Love, even though that's so cheesy and like stereotypical, just to be nice and be kind to people and understand that it's our first time and we're all trying the same thing. But like I said, I want to dedicate this to my mom, my late mother, and I'm going to continue with this series. If you have any comments, questions, any input you'd like to tell me, please let me know in the comments below, and I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.